Secondly, Rabbi from another planet, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified of when new videos drop. And I have been tardy at making my videos. I hope to get back onto track this week. My wife was away, so what can you do? I'm all forlorn and lost when she's away. And this video is has a strange eclectic mix of items. I want to talk about the Jewish New Year, which is tonight. I want to talk about comic book artist Ethan Van Sciver. I want to talk about Twitter, and I want to talk about justice. Justice, something that should be close to the heart of most comic book fans. We all basically like justice. I think that's the I think that's kind of like a running thread about everybody obsessed with the funny books, much as I am. Now, I'm going to give some disclaimers, but I always give disclaimers. I think it's very important to put things into context. Oh, I want to talk about biases. That's really one of the most central things I want to talk about. But I want to put everything in context so you understand what my biases are. I like Ethan Van Sciver. I listen to his live streams. I listen to his channel a lot. I would like him to be successful. He entertains me. He makes me laugh. I think he's a great guy. I don't know him at all, but I like Ethan Van Sciver. That's the first part of my biases. Second part is that I am a comic book writer and artist, and I'm about to launch a Indiegogo book in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, I got an agreement from a couple of very big YouTube channels that they're going to let me sponsor them to promote it, which I'm really excited about. And everything's really dependent upon that. But assuming that it's that this campaign does launch, I would really love it to be a Comet Skate book. I really like to go under the hashtag Comet Skate umbrella. I'll give you a little bit of background. I am relatively new to Comet Skate. I'm a bit of a newbie to the fandom menace as well. I got into the fandom menace by Nerdrotic, Gary Beagler, as well as looking for an outlet when Doctor Who season 11 was just so unbearably awful. I was listening to a stream this morning when people were talking about Last Jedi, and I really thought of an analogy that really works. It's kind of like watching your mother, somebody who you grew up with and nurtured you and loved you, being raped in front of you. That's what The Last Jedi was like for Star Wars fans. That's what Doctor Who season 11 was. It's just taking something that you loved and cherished and nurtured you and been with you your entire life, and you have genuine love for it, and watch it just used and besmirched for some vile social to make some sort of social point, which you couldn't make in normal conversation because the people making it are extremely damaged to the point of mental illness, I think. So I don't get into that tangent, but so I got to the fandom menace via Nerdrotic. Love his streams, still love his streams, always loved his streams. And from him, I found everybody else, and so that was like the January this year. Then it wasn't until like April, May I found out about Comet Skate. I heard about Comet Skate peripherally. I heard it was like a white supremacist movement, so I just didn't even float on my radar. Also, I'd floated out of mainstream American comics, pretty much around 2015, 2016. I already got back into 2000 AD a lot more. I got a subscription there. I really enjoyed that. Still firing on all cylinders. How many was it? 40, 50 years old? It was 77, 87, 97, 2007, 2007. So over 42 years old. It's younger than me, but in better shape. So I only found out about Comet Skate then when Gary Nerdrotic was talking about Richard C. Myers' case with Mark Waid, which I found fascinating. So I immediately went to look at Richard. Was it your boy Zach's channel? Which led me to EVS's channel, and I am like fascinated with Comet Skate. I think it's fantastic. I love the ideals behind it, and I really wish everybody in it much success. So as I said, I am a comic book writer and artist. I've done a few books. You go to I have a website, Biblical Comics. The next is where are the books. This one's a fun book. I enjoy this one. This is the main cover. That's like a love letter to telefantasy of the 1960s. Here's another cover, which is slightly better, I think. By the artwork's by a guy called Dominic Racho, lives in Philippines. Fantastic artist. If you ever need an artist, He's your man. Anyway, so I got a book coming out soon. I would love it to be a Comet Skate one. So those are my biases. I have warm feelings towards Ethan Van Sciver to start with. I want to professionally profit by his what's the word? Not sponsorship. But, what was it when in like in the Renaissance when like the Pope would like sponsor an artist to do something. Patronage. I do very much hope to benefit from his patronage. I have no idea how to get in contact with him. Hopefully, one of the YouTubers who are going to be working with me will be able to forward a message to him. I have no idea. If anyone's listening and can't get me in contact, I would love it. So those are my biases. I want to be open and honest and put my cards on the table. And here's why I want to put my cards on the table. Biases are everything. Biases, I think there's the concept in Jewish philosophy. I think comes from the book of Jonah, that the heart, the desire, is the captain of the ship. The mind is what drives you, or what cognitively moves you. But the heart is where your mind follows your heart. Your heart doesn't follow your mind. And listen. I'm sure we've seen that since the 2016 election and from the Brexit election, that people have been crazy because their minds have been following their hearts, and their hearts are saying, "Oh, look, this guy, Donald Trump, he's going to eat babies," and he's whenever they hear and think about it, their heart goes yes, and their mind just sucks into it. So again, my heart is on the side of Ethan Let's go, but taking one out of the equation as much as possible. He was making a video, and I very rarely make videos talking about other YouTubers. There's this one guy who really doesn't like EBS, who really does, and I think the story is that he also writes comics, and I've read his books. They look fantastic. The artwork's beautiful. I think nice production values. Story really wasn't for me. Didn't engage me in any way, shape, or form. But it's a solid professional product. Anyway, so this guy who just really has a boner against Ethan. I think my guess is that I have no knowledge of this at all. Probably is in a similar position as me. Really wanted Ethan's help, and Ethan has a life, and he's like, yeah, you can come on, and it just never panned out. And this guy's been just butthurt ever since, and it's so really obvious from all his many social media postings. And honestly, look, dude, this is a blind item because I don't want to mention you by name because I have no animosity to you. I genuinely don't. But I wish you shalom. My blessing for you. If I could bless you, this is the Jewish New Year starts tonight. So blessings have more import in Jewish philosophy right now. I wish you shalom, genuine shalom. And shalom isn't peace. Shalom is when everything is one, is whole, is connected, and which is generally peaceful. So anyway, this guy put out this quote disparaging Cyberfrog. Cyberfrog has finally come out. And again, proof that the mind follows the heart is that people want Cyberfrog. The people who hate what Ethan's doing want Cyberfrog to fail. They want it to fail in every way possible. And they keep lying about it. They say he's never going to do it, and then he's going to steal the money, which is kind of that's a grand theft crime. I think we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that he's going to put out a substandard product. And so then now they're saying it's a digest size, which it wasn't. I ordered it. I haven't read. I'm having it sent to my ex neighbors in Miami because my wife is going to Miami in 3 weeks, and so hopefully it's there. I'm really looking forward to reading it. And then the latest thing is that it's he printed it on cheap paper because he printed it on thin paper, and the story. And I knew the reason why, because it mushroomed because it was so successful from about 45 pages to 75, 80, 90 pages, and because he really wanted to do these chromium covers. They don't work with standard paper thickness, so he wouldn't hold together. So you had to use magazine paper, which I think is actually more expensive, but it's thinner. Because he increased the page count. This video is about none of that at all. We're still warming up. Then what this video is about is this, and I'm just going to say again, tying this into the Jewish New Year happening tonight. The concept of the Jewish New Year is that God judges everything. It's the point where reality was created. There's actually a argument. When was reality created? Was it in the spring or in the fall? It's the first day of the Jewish month of Nisan, which is the spring, or the first day of the Jewish month of Tishrei, which is tonight, which is always around September, October time. And so the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud, talks about it, and they say the world was created in thought, in planning, in September, October, and it only comes through to reality, to tangibility in the spring. And there's lots of stuff that kind of works with the agricultural cycle as well. But again, I digress. But tonight is the night. The one of the themes of tonight goes on for 2 days. That God is judging not just you personally, but every single thing in creation, every human being, every dog, every cat, every rock, every great blade of grass. Yeah, God is omnipotent. He can probably do this. And God is a fair judge, and he basically, and you get I would say your fate for the next year written tonight. So when I say your fate, you have, because one has free will. I think you get a range of fates. You get your own personal multiverse of things that could happen depending on what your choices are. You can't be super pious and be a good person during these high holy days and then go off and start eating babies. I'm done. That doesn't work that way. Everything is dependent on our own choices, which I think kind of is a more of a not just a Jewish outlook. It's a more karmic outlook. Anyway, the central focus is God being a fair judge. Now, part of being a fair judge is you don't have biases. And the story I was thinking of, again, this is also, I think, in the Babylonian Talmud, which takes 7 years to learn if you do a page a day. But just coming, I should be finishing that for my first time in January. Very exciting. Hey, but there's a story about a rabbi who was brought a specific case, and one of the litigants delivered the rabbi his snuff. It's like chewing tobacco, but he snorted it instead of chewing it, and he secreted a gold coin in his snuff box. So he'd given him a gift, and that's the power of giving gifts. Because once you give a gift to someone, once you pay somebody something, they become subservient to a certain extent. You become biased in their favor. So this rabbi was learning through the Jewish legal query, and he kept coming out in favor of this one guy who had delivered his snuff and given him the gold coin without knowing. And he tried to work out, but he kept coming out that way. And something felt wrong, and he kept doing it. And eventually, he found the gold coin in the middle. And once he found the gold coin and returned it, he was then able to see it from the other side and judge fairly. Don't know if it's a true story. Probably not giving it over that accurate. But anyway, God is a fair judge, which human beings aren't. Human beings are things replete with biases. So I told you my bias. There's this other guy who has a bias against Ethan. But this is the point that I'm really, I stand with Ethan so completely on this. And this might be sycophantic, but I really think he's right. So the guy who has got a boner against Ethan wrote some kind of disparaging post about Cyberfrog, saying I hope it fails, everything. And then somebody liked it. Somebody who wrote a comic that Ethan had supported. I remember him having him on the channel, and it helped. And that guy and Ethan was just in shock, in total shock. I helped you. How could you stab me in the back? I completely agree with him. If you think of the prequel trilogy in Star Wars, what's the third one called? Revenge of the Sith, right? Revenge of the Sith, where they execute Order 66, and they order, and then there's a one Jedi who's leading the guy with the cone head kind of Jedi who's leading a bunch of clone troopers against robots, and the clone troopers start firing on him. He's and you see this look of bewilderment and what? How could you do that? Actually, this is a very macabre example. if you ever go to the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Israel called Yad Vashem, it's always struck me. There's a picture of a French Jew climbing off one of the trains when he got to Auschwitz, or one of the concentration camps. And you were told you're going to a resettlement camp. You're going to, and like you could see the reality dawn on this guy's face as he looks around and he like every rumor you heard, every terrible rumor, and you could see it. You could see his disbelief. And I think definitely to a different degree, but I think Ethan had a same amount of disbelief. Like if anybody ever helps me, especially in financially, and especially in terms of like in helping my comic book career, I've got your back for life. I can't imagine what you have to do to get me to turn on you. I can't imagine. But I mean, listen, you might do something piss me off, and I might not like you, but I'm not going to speak out against you. I mean, like that too. So I was shocked as well, because I remember this guy being on Ethan's stream, and honestly, that's everything that I want. That's not everything I want. That's something that I really want, and I just can't believe that he would be like have animosity towards Ethan. And I think, and so people are attacking Ethan because I'm not on Twitter. I'm on Twitter very peripherally. I go to look. I very rarely post because Twitter's a vile, awful place. So Ethan then got into a whole spat about about being upset that this guy wrote this thing, liked this thing against him. Then people are like, oh, it's only a like. Yeah, and he's right. It's good. Having good character is more important than anything else. It really is. No matter how butthurt you are over everything, if you have good character, that's more important than anything else. And having bad character is terrible. And liking that tweet was terrible. I agree with Ethan completely. But as I said, I'm completely swamped with my own biases. My name is Sheila Beck, the Rabbi from Another Planet, wishing you a happy Jewish New Year. I hope to get. I'm offline for the next 2 days. As I said, may I mention it's a Jewish New Year, but I'm offline for the next couple of days because of it. Then after that is a fast day. Because we eat a lot of food over the next couple of days, so I kind of enjoyed that fast day. Fine. So yeah, my name is Sheila Beck, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Thank you for listening, and I want to wish you shalom and blessings, and have a happy New Year, which is, what's the Jewish New Year? 5780, I think. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a good day.